Welcome everyone to week 3 of our MS exercise group, kindly funded by MS Auckland. I am Julie Davey. I am a senior neurological physio. I own a practice called Connect Neurophysiotherapy here in Auckland, New Zealand, and I am the founder of MS Get a Head Start, which is an innovative approach to training individuals with MS to maximise their quality of life through exercise and well-being. So welcome for those of you who are joining us live. We've got a few of you that are joining us live. Now this is being recorded as well, so you can access it at any time after this for those who are joining us live, and obviously those who are joining us recorded, welcome. Just a couple of little bits of quick bits of health and safety. Obviously I haven't had the privilege of meeting you all in person to know exactly what exercises are appropriate, inappropriate, safe or not safe for you. So please make sure that whatever you do, you are doing safely. That if there's an exercise that you're not quite sure how to do or not quite comfortable, please don't try to attempt it. This program is for individuals who have the ability to get on and off the ground with ease, so by themselves. Obviously you can use a chair or something. If your mobility is not of that standard, then these exercises will be a little bit too demanding. So just making sure you're aware what you're about to get into. So this is our 3rd week, so we're going to do exercises the same process as we've done for the last 2 weeks. So we're doing 9 exercises. Each exercise we repeat 3 times, and we do each exercise 30 seconds on, 30 seconds rest for those 3 times. I will demonstrate each exercise to start with and talk through the appropriate levels, and then you can choose which level you want to do of that exercise, and we'll have a timer going, giving us a beep beep to let us know when we're starting and stopping. So I think that's all I needed to say at the start. So what I've got here, what you do need to set yourself up with is that I've got a chair and a mat for the floor, and you probably also need a water, and ice cold water. I'm just going to quickly grab mine. And what we'll do to start with, team, is do a bit of a warm-up. So I'll just keep moving the screen around a little bit, depending on the exercises and stuff I'm doing, so to make sure I fit in the screen. So with our warm-up, so we're going to start our warm-up in standard. And let's probably have you with something sturdy next to you. Okay, so if you need a little bit of support, you've got that there. But let's just start with keeping your toes on the ground, but you're just lifting your heels up. So we're just getting a little bit of mobility through the feet. Okay, and then you can bring a little bit of an arm swing in as well. That's great. So we're going to keep that action around our ankles, knees and hips going. Okay. And what we're going to do is reach up to the sky, touch your shoulders, out to the sides. We're going shoulders, sky, shoulders, out, while trying to keep the legs in that moving position. Okay, so we're just trying to get all the joints warmed up, just get that body used to being moved again. Excellent. Stop there. Give the heels a bit of a kick up towards your bottom. Okay, so just waking those up. Okay, knees up in front of you. Okay, then arms up nice and high, and we're going to do a stretch over one side, stretch over the other side. Let's just do that a couple of times. Okay, don't need to hold it. Let's just put a little bit of movement into this. So we're now starting to take the hips a bit further one way, and then the other way, getting a little bit of a swing with those arms. Now bring the arms down. Make sure you're not going to knock anything off, okay, off the furniture behind you. We're going to keep the legs still, but we're going to swing the arms behind us and then behind the other way, okay? So keeping ourselves grounded, but getting some nice rotation and mobility. So rotating the head and taking the arms around at the same time. Good, okay. We're now going to do a bit of a speed box, in the sense that we're going to do a speed ball. So we're going to put hand over hand in a circle, and we're going to go as fast as we can. Okay, let's go. We're going to do 10 seconds, as quick as we can one way. Going really quick. Okay, stop there. Okay, make sure we've got a nice posture. And now we're going to do the same thing, but in a little squat. So come down into a squat, and we're going to go the other direction. We're going to do 10 seconds in the other direction. Good, keep going. And stop there, okay? Now we're going to do a box down to your outside of your left leg. Okay, 10 seconds, off we go. Nice and fast. That's it, try and get those arms pumping. Now we're going to box straight above your head for 10 seconds. And now we're going to box down to the other end of the right side. Beautiful. We're going to put feet together, knees together. Can we do a circle with those knees one way? And then circle with your knees the other way. Excellent. Now feet apart, can we circle those hips one way? And then circle those hips back the other way. Excellent. All right, so we're going to get going with our first round. So that's just warmed all our joints up and muscles up. So the first round of exercises are going to be in standing. So we're going to do 3 exercises, then we'll have a little rest. Second round of exercises are going to be on the floor, and third round of exercises are all going to need the chair. Okay. So the first one that we're going to do is row backs. Okay. So we've got 2 different phases for this one. You can choose to do this one in sitting, okay? And we're reaching out and pulling those elbows as far back as we can, okay? So we can do it in sitting. If you can stand, that would be preferable. So we're working some of our anti-gravity muscles. So the hands are at shoulder height, 90 degrees, and you're bringing those elbows out wide to start with, and back. So we're doing this action, okay? So that's the action that we're going to start with, and then there's a couple of modifications we're going to make as we do the next set of rounds. We've got 3 rounds, just starting with the straight elbows coming out wide and back. So, getting ready, we've got a little 5-second warm-up, then we've got, 5-second warning, warm-up, done our warm-up. Then we're going to do 30 seconds, nice and strong, 30-second rest 3 times. Okay, so we're here and we're going to really bring those elbows back, and you're really thinking about squeezing those shoulder blades back behind you. It'll feel quite a simple exercise at the moment, but trust me, as we do 30 seconds worth of it, you're going to start feeling those back muscles starting to really work. We've got 10 seconds to go. Excellent. Okay, the next round, we're going to have hands like you're going to catch a beach ball in front. So this time your palms are facing each other, and you're going to pull your elbows in. Okay, so the elbows are going to brush aside and try and see if you can get those elbows behind your rib cage. Okay, so we're going to be doing this action for the next 30 seconds. We're going to be going in 5 seconds time. Okay, getting ready. Off we go. Nice, strong movements, pulling back. Good, really squeezing those shoulder blades back. These exercises are just helping to warm us up, but they are going to be working those little postural muscles quite hard. So it might not feel like much, but trust me, you're going to be working a lot of the right muscles well. Excellent. Okay, now for the third round, you can choose either to do your wide out to the side, elbow in, or what you're going to do if you have the ability is you're going to hinge from the hips, keeping your lower back nice and straight, so we're not grounded, we're here, and we're going to do row backs in this angle here. So hands are down, elbows are coming back, but you must keep that lower back arch when you go down, okay? So hips poke out, and we're doing a row back here. So now we're just working against more gravity. So these muscles are going to have to work a little harder. Try and make sure you're not using your neck muscles. Make sure you're using your back muscles and those lower muscles below your scapula, so below your shoulder blades. Another 10 seconds. Excellent, so that's our first round of exercises done. Hopefully you're getting a good burn between those shoulder blades. So our next one is got a couple of balance exercises now. So we've got our one-leg alphabet, okay? So you're going to stand with the support surface next to you. It can either be facing or side on. I would recommend side on for this one. You're going to stand on one leg, and on your free leg, you're going to try and write the alphabet. So A, B, C, D, and you can see how far through the alphabet you can get before you have to put your foot down. Now, ideally, you're not holding on. You're just going to put your foot down or your hand down once you've lost your balance. This isn't a case of leaning and then trying to do the alphabet. It is a case of trying to work on the balance. Also, make sure that your standing leg, you haven't hyperextended, so you haven't locked that knee in place. The knee needs to be soft, okay? So even if you can only take your foot off the ground for a moment and then it goes back on, but you haven't held on, I would prefer that. I would prefer no holding, okay, to leaning heavily and trying to do the whole 30 seconds, okay? So it's more important to be working on the balance, okay, than just staying on that one leg. Okay, so starting on whichever leg you want, okay, and off we go. So we're writing that alphabet as we go. Now, if your balance is good, we can probably put hands on hips. If you need to just be hovering the hand over the chair, that's good, okay? Over halfway. Alright, I got to letter T. I don't know what anyone else got that to, but it's good just to see which letter you did get to. So we're now going to swap onto the other leg. So obviously still have your support surface next to you. And again, as I said, make sure you don't lock that knee back. So very easy to lock your knee back when your top part of your body, your shoulders, are in front of your hips, and that often causes us to lock our knees. So make sure when we're doing these exercises, those shoulders are back over your hips. Okay, so standing on that other leg, and we're off through the alphabet that leg in, okay? Good. Definitely have one leg probably better than the other. We've got 5 more seconds. Good. I think I've got a bit lost in my letters then, trying to chat at the same time. I think I was a little bit better on my right. So now I want you to, for the last set, I want you to stand on whichever leg you found more challenging. Okay, so whether it's your left or your right. Okay, so I got further through the alphabet on my right, but I definitely felt slightly less stable. So I'm going to do my right side again. Okay, so getting ready to go. Off we go. It's good mobility for the ankle and the foot as well. So you're trying to really work those little muscles in your foot. I don't know if anyone could actually read what I'm writing, but if you are struggling with your balance, it's really good to focus on something at eye height in front of you. Beautiful, well done. So that's our one leg standing. Okay, the next one is about some gaze stability. Now I'm going to come up towards the camera to show this one so you can see my head a little bit more. Okay, so with MS it can be quite common that you can get some demyelination and some issues affecting our vestibular system. So vestibular system is your inner ear balance system, and that's often what makes you can feel a bit dizzy and bits and pieces like that, so and affect your balance. So what we're going to do here is a gaze stability exercise where you are going to look directly at something. So I want you to try and find something where you are that is about 1 to 2 meters away. It's at eye height and you can level yourself up. So it might be a light switch, it might be a corner of a picture frame, it might be a dot on the wall, you know, something that is stable and directly in front of you. So first part is you can have your feet apart, okay? And then as we get better, we're going to bring our feet closer in. So you're going to have your eyes still, and what's going to happen is that you're going to keep looking at that dot in front of you, or that mark in front of you, and you're going to turn your head from side to side without your eyes moving. So if you can hopefully see in the screen that my eyes are staying facing forwards at the screen, but my head's moving side to side. Okay, so I'm going to come back because I'll show you what the stance looks like while we do this. So we've got 30 seconds. First of all, you can either have feet apart. If it feels easy, you can stand with your feet closer together. 30 seconds of side to side movement. Okay. All right. So getting ready. And then off we go. So eyes are facing forwards. Head turns from side to side. It will make you feel a little nauseous. Okay, that's quite normal for everyone. A little nauseous and a little dizzy. Trying to keep those eyes forward focus. Excellent. Okay, so what we're going to do now in the next round is exactly the same, but this time the eyes are facing forwards and the chin is going to go up and down. So we're going to do head nods, but again, the eyes stay where they are. Okay, you don't let the eyes move up and down. Okay, so we're going in 10 seconds. And again, you can either have feet touching together or slightly wider apart. Okay, so getting ready. We go. So eyes stay focused on whatever you're looking at in front of you as you do those head nods up and down. This is teaching your eyes to be able to move independently from your head and vice versa. Your head can move independently from your eye movement. Excellent. Okay, so for the last round, you can choose whether to do side to side or up and down, depending on which one you found more challenging. Now, if standing with just your feet together was wobbly enough, then just stay like that. If that was on the easy side, you can either do a tandem stance, so one foot directly in front of the other, or you can even have a go on going to one leg. So I'm going to do a tandem stance, one foot in front of the other, squeeze the glutes, and I'm going to do side to side. So I'm going to try and keep my eyes still. Oh, there's a good wobble. While moving my head from side to side. And as you can see with me, okay, that's a very demanding balance exercise. Okay, if you've got a split stance, change legs round. Excellent, well done. So that was our first round done. So have a drink, okay, and we're going to make our way onto the floor for the next exercises. So I'm just going to change the screen. Okay, so we'll just bring the camera down a bit. Okay, so what I was just going to talk to you guys about in the intervals is we introduced it in the first session, so if you haven't watched the first two recordings, it's worth having a watch through them. So what I do introduce in the first recording is about the 6 core principles of exercise specifically for MS, and that's what we've developed under the MS Get a Head Start program. So those 6 core principles are high intensity, interval training, specificity, challenge, fun and frequency. And over the courses of the weeks of these programs, we're doing 8 weeks. We've still got another 5 sessions after this today, is I'm covering what each of those core principles mean and how you can implement them. So last week I talked about high intensity, so you can go back and check out high intensity, about that getting out of breath. But what I want to talk about this week is about interval training. So interval training is about how we make that high intensity possible, okay, and also how to manage neuromuscular fatigue. So when I talk about interval training, we've got a work period and then we've got a rest period. Now with MS, it's been shown that your work to rest period should be at least the same amount, okay? So it's what we call a 1-to-1 ratio. So that's why when we do our 30 seconds of exercise, I then do the 30 seconds of rest. So we're having a 1-to-1 ratio of exercise to rest. Now, if you find that you are fatiguing quickly, you're getting hot, you're just not able to do the next round of exercises very well, then it's showing you that you need a bigger interval rest break. And so it can be common that you might need a 1-to-2 ratio. So that would be 30 seconds of work to 60 seconds of rest. And this ultimately, and I'll talk a little bit more in the next rest break we've got between the exercises, is how you can work really hard to get the right cardiovascular and strength responses with MS without becoming a real floppy mess, okay? So intervals are going to be your key to helping you achieve those physical goals that you have, okay? So we're going to start with bridging, okay? While we're warmed up, we're going to keep moving and I'll do a bit more talking in the next break. So with your bridging, okay, so you're lying down on your back, feel free just to come and watch the screen to start with, okay? Your fingers need to be able to touch your heels, okay? And your feet should be aligned with your hip bones and your knees, okay? So I don't want feet really wide, okay? And I don't want them touching, and I don't want your knees touching. We're going to work on bridging. That's not just a pelvic thrust up. We're going to work on rolling and lifting that tailbone off the ground first, and then each vertebrae at a time to come into a nice flat line, and then we are rolling one vertebrae at a time all the way back down. So we're all going to do level 1 together first, the first round, and then I'll introduce level 2 and 3 in the next round. Okay, getting ready. Okay, so we are rolling to lift up and then rolling to lift down. You can have your hands flat down by your side, okay? If that's feeling easy, then you can just pop your arms across your chest. And you're really working on pulling up that pelvic floor muscles, squeezing those glutes, okay, on the way up and on the way down, okay, to really make sure we work them hard. Excellent. Okay, so you can either stay doing level 1, now that can be with arms down or arms up, okay? Now, what we're going to do for level 2 this time is that we're going to do little pulses. So we're going to come up, and then what we're going to do is just sort of drop down a little bit and then back up, a little bit, back up, okay? So that's what we're going to do for the second round. If you don't want to do that, you can do the full roll still, and then we'll do slightly different for the third round. Okay, so we're going. Okay, so we do some little pulses. Okay, so just squeezing that thumb and letting it go. Squeeze, let go. Squeeze, let go. Really trying to get up as high as you can. Trying making sure that those legs are level. Okay. You should probably be feeling this definitely in your glutes by now. You may very well be feeling it in your hamstrings. If you get anything that cramps, that's a sign that it needs a bit more work. It's a bit weak. Good, and then rolling back down. Okay, so again, you can either carry on with just the roll up from level 1, you could do that one, the pulses at level 2, or what we're going to do with level 3 this time is a bit of a walk, okay? So we're going to have up, and then what we're going to do is just take one leg slightly up, and then the other. So we're just taking a foot slightly off the ground, okay? Trying to keep those hips nice and stable, not rolling. We're going to do a lift up, and then we're going to do a little what we call a walking bridge, okay? Now, if this is too much and you're having to fit through your arms, then just go back to the pulsing, okay? And again, ideally with this one, we're going to get to the point where you can do a walking bridge with your elbows off the ground. and then rolling it back down. Well done. That was 3, that went pretty quickly. Okay, so the next one on the ground is going to be on all 4. So you're going to come back over onto your knees, and then if you just want to watch me for a second. We're going to do some specific work on working on your hamstrings and glutes. Okay, so we've warmed them up well with that bridging exercise. And now we're going to do a bit more specific work. So we're in our 4-point kneeling. So hands are directly under your shoulders, knees are directly under your hips. So you've made a nice little box. And just have a little play around where your neutral spine is. So I don't want a big curve, okay, in your lumbar spine, and I don't want you rounded hips. You've got to squeeze your shoulder back, blades back, and get that back just almost flat. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take one leg, okay, and we're going to take your heel directly up to the ceiling. Okay, so we're going to take your knee forwards and backwards, but your heel stays towards your bottom. So we're really working on those hamstrings. So we're not pushing the leg out straight this time. We're coming up with the knee, but it's the sole of the foot is coming to face the ceiling, okay? And trust me, you'll really start to feel that in a hamstring. So we're going to stay on one leg, if we can, for the whole set. If you need to put that leg down and rest at any point, then please do. Okay, getting ready. Okay, so we're going to come up and then down, okay? Try to make sure that you haven't shifted all of your weight over to the stable leg. Try and make sure your hips stay slightly level. Okay, we're pulsing that heel up to the ceiling. I can definitely feel that in my hamstring already. Hopefully you can. So it's just going straight forwards and down, not going out to the side. So just check. Do make sure that we're coming this direction. We haven't got any cocking legs out to the side. So we'll just sit back onto your feet for a moment. Give those quads a little stretch. And we're going to do exactly the same on the other leg. You can give your wrists a little roll. Okay, they've had a bit of a stretch out. Okay, so getting ready, back into position again. Okay, we're going with the other leg. Okay, up and down. Trying to keep your body nice and square. Okay, belly button pulled into spine. So those abs are on. Good, we've got 10 seconds to go. Good, last few. Excellent, well done. Now what you can decide for this last round, okay, is that you can either do that on the leg that you found the most difficult, okay, and you can do the whole 30 seconds on that, or you can join me and we're going to alternate quite quickly between right, left, okay? So getting back into position. Okay, so I'm going to go right, left, nice and quickly. So again, do think about keeping those core muscles turned on. Try to not allow those hips to swing from side to side too much. Think about squeezing those shoulder blades back. So we've got a nice, flat, controlled, strong spine. Excellent, well done. So we're back onto your backs, last one on the floor, then we get to a little breather before we've got an ultimate finisher. I'll apologise about it at the end, okay? It's going to be a goodie. All right, so we're going to do bicycle crunch. So there's a couple of levels to this, okay? So, fingers are by your ears, elbows are out wide. So you are going to try to bring knee up, and then elbow to knee. So I've rotated towards you guys with my top half. Now your elbow might not get to the knee, you might be here, that's okay. Then you're going to come back down flat, okay? And then we go elbow to knee, other side, so we're going opposites, okay? Now, this is level 1, where you just try and rotate and then you come back down flat. If that's easy, you can join with level 2, which is where the straight leg is hovering off the ground. So we're not resting between each one, we're just rotating between each one. So I'll start with level 1 and move to level 2, and you just join us wherever you feel is best for you. So we've got 3 sets of this. We're giving some good ab work. Okay, so level 1, elbow to knee, leg goes down flat. Make sure it's opposite elbow to knee, and you're trying to rotate as far as you can, and your elbows go wide each time. Okay, and then if you can, hover the leg out. You can join me now at level 2. Excellent, well done. Have a little rest there. So we've got 2 more rounds of that. It's a really good core exercise. It's working our opposites. Okay, we know we had someone last week who was saying that working the opposites was a bit of a challenge, so hopefully there's some good exercise for you. And it's really good to help that cross-patterning of walking. Okay, so choose whether you're staying with level 1 or giving level 2 a go. Okay, now I'm going to have a go at starting with our level 2s. Okay, so we're doing that opposite, elbow to knee, and nice and slowly, even if you're at level 2, this isn't a speed one. It's actually a little bit harder when you're going that little bit slower. Try and think about your breathing as well, so you're not holding your breath through the movements. We've got 5 more. Good, and have a rest there. Okay, then we've got 1 more round of that, and then we get to have a little rest before the ultimate finish. If you can think about it in this position, do think about the amount of contact your lower back has with the floor, and ideally that contact is there and it stays there throughout the movement. So if you can think about that as well, it gets a bit complex, give it a go. Okay, so again, opposite, elbow to knee, the other elbow is staying down on the ground. Okay, legs are trying to stay hovering off the ground if you can. That's halfway. Excellent, and stop there. Okay, so grab yourselves a drink. Okay, we're going to need your chairs for this last set. So bring yourself where you can hear me while I chat about a little bit more of the education, and pop yourself into the chairs. I'm just going to have a quick drink. So I was talking about intervals and why they're really needed for MS. Now, a couple of reasons is, one, when you train with intervals, is that you get less heat reaction. When you train endurance-ly, well, I don't think I've just made that word up, but when you train with an endurance focus, your core temperature can keep rising, and then that can give you some of that negative symptom response that can happen with MS when you get too much heat from exercise. So interval training helps to dissipate heat, which can mean that that symptom production through exercise can be lessened as well. Also, what happens with MS, because you've got partial innervation of a muscle group, you get what we call neuromuscular fatigue. Now, a good example of this is you start walking quite well, but after 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, let's say, you start getting some foot drop, and then you start having to limp, and then your walking gets worse, and then you sit down and take a rest, and you can walk well again for a period of time, and then that foot drop comes back. So what's basically happened is that your muscle groups got depleted due to that partial innervation. So if we just kept pushing you through that neuromuscular fatigue when the whole body's kind of gone floppy and not working, one, it's not very enjoyable for you, but also we're just not able to train the muscles in their true overload principles to give you the strength training and the progress you need. Whereas when you do something interval based, and you try and stop the interval just before you become the wobbly mess, okay, and then take that break of the timing, as long as however long you exercise for, and repeat the intervals, what it means is that you can do the intensity harder to get a better training response without becoming such a floppy mess. Because when you do become a bit of a floppy mess, you also are more likely to potentially hurt something else, okay, trip or fall, or also just biomechanically start compensating and using the wrong muscles. So high intensity interval training is what's really needed. So that's being able to work at high intensity to get either puffing and panting out of breath, or to be using weights that you're really pretty heavy, but you then know that you've got that period of rest. So I tend to stick around, just like what we're doing in the program at the moment, it's about 30-second intervals. Seems to work really well in managing that neuromuscular fatigue and the heat, but also allowing you enough time to get your teeth into the exercises. So we're going to do our last round of exercises now before we then finish off with a cool down. And our last round of exercises are all from the chair, and they are all about sitting to standing. So I'm really sorry that you're just about to do 9 rounds of 30 seconds of sit to stand. Okay, I told you that you wouldn't like me much after this, but it's going to be good. So the first sit to stand, okay, you're just on the edge of the chair, we're just coming up and then sitting back down. Okay, I'm just going to move that screen up a little bit just so I don't decapitate myself between each stand up I do. Okay. So nice and even, we're just coming straight up and down, making sure that those knees don't knock in together on up and down. And obviously trying not to use your hands. Try and either have hands on laps in front of you or hands across your chest. I don't mind. So we're just going up and down, trying to be as quick and smooth as you can. Okay, so we're going right up. I want you to squeeze those glutes each time, so you're standing as tall as you can, shoulders back, okay, so no halfways, okay, I want you all the way up and down, nice and quick. This is a great functional exercise, so work those legs and do nice and hard. Okay, we've got 5 more seconds. Excellent, and stop there, okay? So this is where your 30-second rest is definitely going to be needed. You've probably got a little bit of fibre in there. So in the next round, we're just doing that straightforward stand up, okay? And maybe count how many you can do in 30 seconds. So with our last round, we're going to try and beat it, okay? So it doesn't mean to go purposely slow in the next round, okay? It means try and keep the pace up, but let's see how many you can do, okay? Off we go. Make sure you sit all the way down each time. So it's not a squat, it is a sit to stand. You're going to take the weight onto your bum. Got 10 seconds. Go on, one more. Oh, there we go. I got to 17. Not sure what anyone else managed, but 17. So I am going to try and do 2 more. Okay, so let's see if everyone can do 2 more in those sit to stands in that last set. Okay. So we've got 10 seconds. So getting ready. All right, getting ready now. Okay, so let's see if we can do a couple more than before. Make sure we sit down each time. That's halfway. Might go a bit faster myself. Might not get there. 5 to go. Oh, I only managed 1 more. I think I've got some tired legs today. Hopefully you guys managed more than I did on that, how many more you can do. So the next round is now putting this into a little bit more function. Now, I'll show you what it's going to be, and then you may just need to think about your setup for safety. So what we're going to do now is we're going to stand up and we're going to step the left leg forwards, left leg back, sit down, stand up, right leg forward, right leg back, sit down. So it's a little bit like standing up and then having to move. Now, if you're a bit wobbly, what you can do is either have another chair beside you, or even if you set your chair up to have your table or, you know, or the wall next to you, so you've got something once you're up and taking that step, okay? So we stand up, step forward, step back, sit down. Stand up, step forward, step back, sit down. So we've got 3 rounds of that, okay? So getting ready. So you can have thighs of steel by the end of this. Okay, so we're up, step, step back, down. Okay, hands can be wherever they are comfortable as long as they're not helping you up. Okay, now if this is getting easy, you can take a little bigger step with the leg forwards and back. You can do a high step forwards, high step back. But we're just going up and stepping straight away. So try not to pause once you're up before you take that step. So we're just going straight away. Beautiful, and sit down. Well done. So we do exactly the same twice more. Okay, so that's stand up and a forward step. Do make sure that when you come up that you are still coming up nice and straight. Okay, you're not got that forward lean where that shoulders are in front of the hips at all. Okay. You'll probably have one side that feels a bit easier than the other, and that's normal. Okay, so we're off again. So we're doing that nice big step forwards, sit down. Big step forwards, sit down. Okay? You can have a little bit of a rock with the weight onto that front leg, rock it back, step back. Now, a few of you, the step back is going to be difficult. Okay, that's why having some support surface there is good. But it's a great exercise to strengthen up those glutes, okay? Make you more functional and more stable. Excellent. Okay, so we've got one more of those. So if that's going tricky, don't worry, you're doing well. Just kind of keep up with us. Okay, now for some of you are finding this easy, let's just go a little bit faster, okay? Let's think about that intensity. See if you can up it a little bit. Okay, this is the last round of this one, okay? And then we've got one more exercise after this. Okay, so getting ready. Off we go. So we're going to our step and back. That's it. So make sure you step back is just as good as that step forward, okay? And so it's really working on those muscles. Make sure we're still getting nice and tall with this posture. Excellent. Okay, we've only got another 5 seconds to go. Excellent, well done, stop there. So our last exercise, and I said this was going to be a bit of a sit to stand challenge. It's same but different. We're now going to stand up and you are going to step out wide to the left, side step back in, sit down. So you're going to stand up, step out wide to the right, side step back in, sit down. So it's up, out, in, down, up, out, in, down. Okay? So that's what we're going to do for that exercise. So we've got 30 seconds free time. This is the last exercise of today. Getting ready? Good. So we're up and out and in and down. So doing this nice and quickly, but again, if you need some support, set yourselves up. Okay, and trying to lift the leg up and over, like you're stepping over a small step. Okay, so I don't want you dragging it along, and especially try not to drag it back in. Okay, try and step it out and over on the way back in as well. Good, stop there, have a little rest. Only a minute's worth of exercise left today, team, okay? And then you can all join me again next week. So as I say, we've got 5 more weeks after this of our 8-week program. And again, nice big thank you to Auckland MS Auckland Society for funding these sessions, all being recorded and can all be available. And I'll talk about where the recording will be in a moment. We're getting ready to go. Good, so we're up, out, in, down. Now again, if you're finding this a little bit easier, you can lift your knee up higher, you can go a little bit faster. Okay, up and out and down. Again, making sure you come all the way up so those shoulders are back, hips are forward. We've got 10 seconds to go. Excellent, and stop there. So we've got one more 30-second round, okay? Now, if you're really starting to struggle with these sit-to-stands and you're starting to get some real thigh burn, then just see if you can just do 5 more in the last 30 seconds, okay? But just trying to push a little bit after that rest, and then we've just got our cool-down stretches to do after that, okay? So getting ready, last 30 seconds. Okay, we're out and in, good. Out and in. Fabulous, that's halfway. Okay, so again, if it's getting easy, okay, then let's go a bit faster and a bit higher. If you're really starting to struggle, let's just see if you can just do a couple more in the last few seconds. Well done, everyone. Give yourself a round of applause. That's your exercises done. So let's just do a couple of little stretches while here. So just on the edge of your seat, take one leg out straight, one leg bent, and just come and gently lean down on that straight leg to stretch the back of your hamstring, okay? You can pull your toes up towards you, take hold of your toes as well, that's great. We'll work those hamstrings pretty hard. And we're going to change those legs over. Let's do a forward lean and stretch here. Beautiful, and then to stretch out those back muscles we worked at the start, just wriggle your bottom back a little bit on the chair, lean right down onto your knees, okay, arms low, and if you can wrap your arms down around under your legs, and just stretch out that back, it's excellent. Okay, and then let's just interlock those fingers, push those hands, the thumbs have gone down, hands are coming towards the screen. Okay, we'll take big lean over to one side, so holding onto the side of the chair, back down, big lean over to the other side, nice big reach. Okay, using your chair, let's just see a nice big rotation. How far can you go round? Check your head as well. And then let's go rotation round the other way. Beautiful. Up nice and tall, just drop the chin down to the chest. Okay, come back up, ear to shoulder, ear to shoulder. Right, and just give those wrists a little circle and ankles a little circle. Okay, so I don't know if I can do all 4 at once. It's a little bit confusing. There we go. That's a bit of a brain game, isn't it? Trying to do ankles and wrists all at once in sitting. Excellent, team. Well done. So round of applause. That is the end of week 3 with our exercises. Hopefully you are finding them beneficial, and hopefully, I'm just going to bring the camera a bit closer to me here, and you're starting to find some of that information interesting about the high intensity and the interval training. So next week I'll talk about one of the other core principles. So the recordings can be found on the MS Get a Head Start YouTube channel, so that's where they get loaded first, and then they can also be found on the MS Auckland website page as well, and that's where all of the 8 videos will be. So please go and like that page so that you can easy to find it again for you. If you've ever got any questions, what we can do, if you ever email me a question in the week or something, I can have an attempt at answering that question in one of these sessions. So you can email me with Gilly, Gilly, at ms-ghs.com. So that's Gilly at ms-ghs.com. So that's our MS Get a Head Start website page and email address there. So thank you very much for joining us. We've had quite a few join us today online live, which has been excellent. And I look forward to seeing hopefully all of you next week. So take care, everyone, and we'll see you soon. Well done.